In this problem, we have a triangle, and we are trying to find a particular angle formed by this triangle and a ray. What I've done here is I have extended the bottom side of this triangle, and the angle that's formed with that ray and the outside of the triangle is called an exterior angle. And I want to know, what is the measure of that exterior angle? It may look like we don't have enough information, but we do. Think about it for a minute. What do you know about this interior angle that's adjacent to the exterior angle that we're talking about? Well, you might be thinking 180 is an important number, and you're right. Because yes, the measures of the interior angles of any triangle is going to add up to 180 degrees. I'm going to say that this missing interior angle here has x degrees, and that lets me write this equation, 70 plus 70 plus x equals 180. So x must be 40, because 140 plus 40 is 180. Awesome, so now I know this angle right here has a measure of 40 degrees. But you know what? We still don't know the measure of our exterior angle. Well, let's think about it. I'm going to zoom in really close on it here. And you know what? I'm just going to say this has y degrees. I'm going to let y represent the number of degrees in my exterior angle. One thing I notice when I look really close here is that these two angles are supplementary. Together, if you put them together, they make a straight line. They're a linear pair. So I know that together they must have a sum of 180 degrees. So 40 plus y equals 180 degrees. And that means that our exterior angle over here has 140 degrees. Hooray, our mystery is solved. Now we saw that number 140 quite a few times, and there is a reason why. Let's look at a couple more examples to see if we can figure out a pattern. Okay, here are a few more examples. Let's use the same strategy we used before to find the measures of the exterior angles that are shown on these triangles. So what we're looking for are the measures of the angles that I have highlighted here in blue. Well, in each case, we can use the triangle sum theorem to find x. The triangle sum theorem is the theorem that tells us that the measures of the interior angles of any triangle sum to 180. Notice that while I'm reusing the variable x, it doesn't mean that x is going to have the same value in each of these examples. These are 4 different examples, and I'm expecting that x will probably be different for each one of them. Well, let's find out. Okay, well, those equations weren't too hard. Now we know the interior angles for all of our triangles, and we should be able to figure out the measures of the exterior angles that we're looking for. Remember, in our example before, we identified some linear pairs. And we can do that here too. Here's some linear pair angles. They will add up to 180 degrees because together those two angles make a straight line. Okay, so now let's use that information to write some new equations. Okay, and our equations are solved. And now we know the angle measures of our exterior angles. Now take a look at this and see if you notice any patterns that stand out to you. What do you think? Do you see anything interesting? Check this out. 110 is equal to 60 plus 50 in our first example. Now in our next example, 100 is equal to 30 plus 70. In the next example, 120 is equal to 60 plus 60. And then in the last example, 120 is equal to 40 plus 80. Is this a coincidence? What's going on? It would appear that the measure of the exterior angle of the triangle is equal to the sum of the interior angles that are opposite it. And in fact, that is true. The measure of the exterior angle of a triangle will equal the sum of its remote interior angles. Now by remote, do we mean like a TV remote? No, we don't. Remote is just a fancy math word for far away. In fact, the TV remote is called a remote because you can change the channel with it when you're far away. So these are far away interior angles. They are far from our exterior angle. So this is our shortcut. The sum of the remote interior angles is equal to the measure of the exterior angle of a triangle. And here's how we can use this shortcut to make our lives easier. Well, in this first example over here, let's call this example 1. The remote interior angles are 80 and 50, which means our exterior angle is equal to the sum of 80 and 50. Our exterior angle will measure 130 degrees. What do you think about the next example? Well, in this case, our exterior angle will be equal to 40 plus 70 That's 110 degrees. Pretty nifty shortcut, huh? And it's all thanks to the exterior angle theorem.